Afternoon, y'all. How's everybody?
Oh, Sherry, I'm so sorry about Bobby.
I know, it's just I haven't taken it on board really, because it's just so sad. And I mean, I did see a lot of him, and we had the funniest. Everybody you speak to will tell you this. I had the funniest relationship with Bobby. We had a kind of he'd say something terrible to me, I'd say something terrible to him, and that's the relationship we had. And I saw his wonderful sons, the Harper brothers, who do the act sometimes with the boys, and they were saying this morning, which is so true, that Bobby was like a cartoon character. And I can't tell you whether it's the Roadrunner or whatever it was, but he was like manic, and every time you saw him, he made you smile, and he just made you laugh so much. But the wonderful tribute, out of all the millions of tributes, I've never seen Facebook, Twitter and everything taken over so much by tributes. But the one thing that he would have cherished was Blackpool Tower last night had a thing going round it saying, "Rock on, Bobby." Oh, and it was going round and round and round.
So beautiful.
He would, because Blackpool to him was everything. He would have cherished that. So I
actually,
will
Sherry,
miss him.
Robin Duke, who was the editor, I think it was the Blackpool Gazette, or one of the biggest Blackpool papers, wrote the most fantastic, it wasn't really a eulogy. He wrote an article on him 5 years ago, but at the very bottom of this article, and I have to read it, I'm sorry, because I'm so old, I can't remember things anymore. It said at the very end of it, and he reposted this last night, it said, "Millions of people, thousands of shows, the world is a better place because of them." And that is Bobby Ball.
Oh. And that's so true.
Where did you first meet him, Sherry?
Well, going back to the beginning of the 80s, I did a sitcom with them both. I think it was a pilot, to be fair. I think they were both policemen. And so it was insane. It was insane. So that was, but through the years, I've done cricket matches, would you believe, with Tommy when I was in Emmerdale.
Amazing.
I've done all sorts. And Bobby and his wonderful wife, Yvonne, who I would love to send all my love to, and all their fabulous family. I've stayed with them, drank copious amounts of gin, and just had the most wonderful time. So all through the years, we've kept in touch. And we were planning, and it was in the planning stages, for Bobby and I to do a sitcom together as man and wife. Running a B&B in Blackpool.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's been on the cards for about 5 years.
Of course.
And he was writing stuff for it, and we were so excited, and it was going to be insane, as you can imagine, and crazy. So we never got to do that. But I saw him a lot and stayed with him a lot. And so my memories will be, and I just can't believe he's not going to ring me. It's just bizarre, you know. It's taking me back to my brother who doesn't ring me either.
Yeah.
And so
you know, I thought that, Sherry.
Well, maybe they can sit together, darling, and chat now up somewhere in the happiness place. But he was such an iconic, amazing character throughout our years of television in the sort of 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah. You know, his wit and both of them together, those double acts, I so miss them.
Yeah. But one of the sons was saying today, he's saying Bobby had an Xbox.
Wow.
No. And he had every game. So his grandchildren loved going around to his house. He'd go, "Oh, I've watched that. Oh, you have it." So he used to give them all his games. I mean, Bobby on an Xbox when he couldn't even text me. I just think, but he was full. Whenever you were with him, I used to go to Lytham where he lived, and we all go out for lunch. And everybody, everywhere, every street, every bar, everywhere would go, "Bobby Ball," and they'd all come over. He never once, not even when he was eating or anything, never once stopped. he always said, just a minute, I've got to go and say hello to those people. I've got to.
Wow.
No, I mean, that's a lesson to learn, you know.
That is, yeah.
Never once. And the
Wonderful.
hospitals and hospices and everything he supported. You know, there was a nurse on this morning saying, we always used to hear him coming in the hospital. He go, all right, cocker.
All right, cocker.
So he was loved by everybody. And
well, Bobby, in heaven,
yeah.
they're in for a ball. They're in for literally. They're in for a ball when he arrives. So I say, I just send my love to my mum and all the other people that I know up there. So I'm going to miss him.
Who will look after him.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh,
anyway,
such a legend.
Yes. Anyway, actually, right. Let's change the subject completely. We're going to talk about buses for the homeless. Now, my daughter, Talia, I'm sorry, I'm now being a complete Jewish mother here, which is what I am.
Mother, supreme.
My daughter, Talia, is actually trying to get together 100 sacks for the homeless, which will be taken into London by a big London bus. And I think she's here to tell us all about it, much better than I ever could. Talia, are you there?
Hi,
darling.
Hi.
Help your mother out, Talia. She's talking absolute rubbish.
It's a nightmare, darling. We need you to save her, please, quickly.
She does this a lot. She does this a lot. I thought you'd all know this by now, but here we are. So.
You look lovely, darling.
Yeah, she's
Thank you.
Oh, my little mini me, aren't you, darling?
I'd like to think so.
Taking the glory.
Of course.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you,
darling. Tell us everything, please.
So tell everybody about the buses for the homeless, how it all started, and the sacks and everything, Talia. Tell us. We need to know.
From the very beginning. Well, where do I begin? So a couple of years ago, 2018, which seems like many moons ago now, I was feeling very unwell. I was very poorly, and I was feeling sorry for myself. And I was sitting on the sofa with my mum, and she was, holding my hand, giving me a lemsip. And I thought to myself, Jesus, okay, I'm feeling horrendous, and I'm in a house for one, with a blanket over me, all my dogs, with a Christmas movie on, and I had this light bulb moment of thinking how absolutely incredibly lucky I was to be feeling that awful, but in an amazing situation. And our family are huge at Christmas. We love Christmas. We go way over the top. I blame Debbie Arnold for this. This is buying lots of little presents, little trinkets for people. It's amazing. And I had this moment of feeling really lucky and thought, imagine if I wasn't in my house and I was sitting outside in the cold. And I decided then and there, about 3 weeks before Christmas, that I was going to deliver some Christmas presents to the homeless. And then I thought, well, I can't just say that. I'm going to have to make it a statement so that hopefully people will get behind me. So I, as you do, put on my Instagram, I went, guys, I want to do this. I want to deliver 100 Christmas sacks full of presents and things to the homeless this year because it's freezing cold. I love Christmas. I feel like it's something I need to do. Who's behind me? And thankfully, I had a huge response, and all from the local area where we live in Surrey, people donated all sorts of things, and we got donations from all over the world, and ended up raising £1,500 on a Just Giving page to fill these sacks, to deliver them to the homeless. And once I'd realised that I'd said I was going to give out 100 sacks, I then thought, how am I going to get them to London? I can't carry them. I can't fit them all in my car. And that is when my mum actually introduced me to a man that she knew, a charity man, who owns an organisation called Buses for Homeless. And Buses for Homeless are an absolutely incredible charity. If you haven't heard of them, go and look them up. They basically take old double-decker buses and turn them into sleeper pods for the homeless. So they can go there, sleep, have a shower, and they even have like a top deck that is turned into a place where they can study, where they can apply for jobs. So it's a real turn their whole lives around.
Amazing.
This is incredible. That's so inspirational, Talia. I remember
your mother is also an ambassador to the charity, unless you've forgotten.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, there we go.
And your mum,
now,
is so generous and lovely, and it's so brilliant what you said about you weren't well and you suddenly thought about all these people. That's such a lovely thing to say. And I remember Lady or Princess Diana taking William and Harry to Centrepoint all those years ago, you know, in other words, they were so privileged, but she knew that she had to, you know, to show them how the other half lived. And you know what, Talia, I know that you're not in the same position, but although you are a wonderful, you know, beautiful princess, but it's just fabulous that you're doing that, and huge congratulations.
Can I ask, what was it like when you actually got there to London with all those sacks and went out and gave them to people? They must have been so moved and surprised, and what was that like?
They were. The whole day was, it was like nothing I've never experienced. Now, like, I like to think of myself generally as quite like a, you know, a generous person. I'll always help people if they need it. But actually being able to go out and give people who have nothing, even something, because that's the only thing they're going to get at Christmas, you know, like they don't have a family to go home to and get Christmas presents. And if they can get into a shelter, amazing, they can at least have somewhere with other people around them to give them some kind of Christmas cheer. But if they can't get in, which a lot of people can't because they're fully booked, they are on the streets by themselves. And the first person that I went and gave a sack to, I don't cry very often. I don't know why, I don't cry very often, it's not really my thing. It was like an episode of Friends where I gave someone the Christmas sack and the floodgates opened, and for the entire day I could not stop crying. I felt it was the most amazing thing I think I've done really in my life. I felt actually like I had an actual purpose, and I was going around trying to make everyone's lives that little bit easier.
What's in the bags?
So what was in the sacks in 2018 is similar to what's in the sacks now, just obviously with everything that's going on in the world, we need to be a little bit more careful about what we give out and things like that. So back in 2018, we actually had 2 buses in the end, and one of the buses was filled to the brim with the Christmas sacks, and we had everyone give us a huge send-off where we started the journey in Surrey, and it even got picked up by Sky News, incredibly, so they documented the entire thing. Because it circulated so much on social media, but we had two buses in the end, and one of them was filled to the brim with people's clothes donations, be that warm socks, gloves, hats, jumpers, coats. People pretty much gave us their entire wardrobe, which was amazing. And with the Christmas sacks, we gave out people, if they wanted clothes, they could come and get some clothes, and we ended up giving out everything. There wasn't a thing left on either bus by the end of the day, which just goes to show, sadly, how many people, men, women, children, are on the streets, which seems, you know, in this day and age, you sort of think, how on earth is that still happening? But it is, and that's kind of the world we live in at the moment. But
even worse this year, I was going to say, with COVID, the pressure for everybody. So you're doing it again.
We're doing it again. So this year I thought, I mean, it's not been a great year. I don't know if you've heard. Everyone's kind of been in lockdown and stuff.
That's why we're here.
Yes, exactly. I mean, your show came out of this, which is incredible. It's the best thing that's come out 2020 so far. So we're doing it again this year because I think everybody wants as well to do some good this year if they can. And I thought, what better way than to give back to the people who need it most. And also, so many people have been made redundant this year, hundreds of thousands of people. And the other thing which has happened is cash is no longer a thing. I mean, it's been going that way for the past couple of years with contactless payments coming in. But this year, you know, most places that you go shopping, if you can go shopping, they don't take cash anymore. And people who are homeless rely on cash donations from people who are passing by. And that is now completely evaporated. So people who have now, they may have become homeless because of everything that's happened this year, who are already homeless, now the things which they could rely on, they can't anymore. So this year, more than ever, I think I've had to do it again. And we're going to be doing it on the 12th of December, which is in 6 weeks, by the way. That's how close Christmas is.
Yeah.
I know. And we've got another Just Giving page, which has already completely surpassed my expectations. We've already gone miles above the budget, which is amazing. But I think what's really important to point out is I put a budget in thinking that would be amazing, and it's gone beyond it because people this year can't give us their old donations. They can't give us their old clothes. So everything this year pretty much has to be bought from the shops. So it's going to cost more money to fill the sacks. Also, in all the sacks this year, going back to your previous question, which I completely have just railroaded about what was actually in the sacks. This year, same as 2018, they're going to have warm gloves, warm socks, hats, bottles of water, some chocolate bars because energy. They're going to have foil blankets to keep them warm. They're going to have sanitary products for the women. They're going to have boxes and underwear for the men, both men and women. And we're going to have some dog treats in them for them that have dogs.
Oh, that's lovely.
And each one they're going to have a little present that's actually wrapped up. So they have something to physically go through the snacks. Because I think that whole opening presents is, no matter what's inside it, is something that makes you feel happy, releases the happy endorphins. So if I can do that for anyone, that will make me extremely happy. And the big thing is that each of the sacks is going to come with a sleeping bag, like a proper warm winter sleeping bag. So a lot of the time, people who are fortunate on the streets, their sleeping bags get stolen, their things get robbed a lot of the time. Yes. So giving them a warm place to actually be able to sleep, and if they don't have a sleeping bag, I don't know if you've ever sat on a cold pavement. I mean, I have, after whatever it would be, whether it was a night out or something. But if you sit on a cold pavement for about 10 minutes, you know, it's horrendous. And you think about these people who are, that's where they live. That is their entire.
Yes.
It just puts things into perspective, really. But this year they're going to have face masks in there as well. They're going to have hand sanitizer. They're also going to have mini alarms so that they can, if they're in trouble, they can raise an alarm so that people are actually aware of where they are. So all of these things obviously cost money, and I'm so incredibly grateful for the people who have donated so far.
So Talia, tell us what happens to the money? Where does it go?
So the money, a large chunk of it goes to buying the sleeping bags. Yeah. Because sleeping bags are expensive. Like ones that keep you warm anyway are expensive. In 2018, we teamed up with Blacks, which are a huge outdoor
yes.
And they did an amazing deal for us where they gave us 100 sleeping bags for £1,000, and that was with them reducing as much as they could. I think the total, if we hadn't have had them reduced, would have come to over £5,000 normally. Ooh. So this year we're trying to contact them again to see if they can do the same thing. If not, we're going to be going to all the outdoor shops to see if they can do a similar sort of thing. So a lot of them, £1,000 of it at least will be going on sleeping bags. The rest of it is going to be going to those things that can't be donated. So things like all the PPE that needs to be provided, all the face masks, hand sanitizers, all the other things, I suppose, the gloves, warm gloves, all the hats. I'm going to try and put some jumpers in there, all the foil blankets. Basically anything that's going to go inside is going to be used with that money. And none of it is going to go anywhere else. So it goes a long way, I would say. Good. But it's lovely. So I feel like this year the sacks are going to be even bigger, even more full of things for people to open. And it's just, it's really nice to feel like you're actually doing something positive this year. It's been such a strange year for everyone, and it's really nice to feel like there's a day where I know that I'm going to come out of it thinking, okay, 2020, I can make this a good year. So, and that is kind of the whole story.
That's wonderful, darling. I absolutely salute you. That's the most moving, amazing story, and the fact you're doing it again is absolutely sensational. Thank you.
And I love the fact that you're putting a little present in. I think that, that for me, if I'd go, oh my God, Father Christmas has remembered me. I've got a little present.
Where do we find all this information? Will it be on our website?
Yes, so we have again this year a Just Giving page, which will be in the sort of description below this video, I imagine.
Lovely.
And we also have now an Amazon wish list, so if people wanted to buy things off of the Amazon wish list, they can send them to us in our secure location. And also we will be putting up, if you sort of follow anything, I'll give you guys all the information near the time, but we're going to be having a route through London, which we're going to publish. So if people want to come and wave the bus off, if they want to come and help give out sacks, all COVID dependent on.
I was just about to say, Talia, can people volunteer to help?
Yes, they can. So unfortunately this year we can't have people on the bus who aren't part of the charity bus.
Of course.
We're limited to having 6 people at the moment on the bus.
Oh, okay.
But what we can, this is why the route is going to be published, so that people can turn up to different locations, usually around Victoria, because that's where like the biggest shelters are, and that tends to be where most people accumulate when they're homeless. So they're going to be we're going to publish the route, so that if people want to turn up at their own accord,
Very good.
We'll all be wearing face masks, we'll all be wearing gloves. If you want to help us hand them out whilst keeping social distance, leaving them on the floor, then everyone is more than welcome. The more the merrier, really.
Fabulous.
Wonderful.
Well done, Talia. It's an amazing thing you've done.
Absolutely
amazing.
And you really light up when you talk about it too, Talia, which is lovely to see.
Very passionate about it. It's nice to help people. It's nice to be nice.
Thank you so much for coming and telling us about it. And we'll just keep watching and see the journey that you're all going on. It'll be fabulous.
Absolutely.
Please do. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you soon, darling.
Love you.
Good luck with
Bye.
it.
Bye. Bye.
Love you, darling.
That is so. You should be. I'm sure you're so proud. That's the most wonderful thing.
That
And I think that should be her hashtag. Nice to be nice.
Yeah. Nice.
I agree.
Nice.
And you know, I must tell you, yesterday was the 12th anniversary of when my husband died. And he always used to do things for the homeless. If he saw somebody, I remember there was a park near us and he used to take a duvet down and blankets for people in the winter. He would always help people. Yeah. And I think it's so important and that's just such a great story, isn't it? Such a wonderful thing.
Lovely story.
We've had such a fantastic show today. And I'm very excited also for tomorrow's show, which is our Halloween special with our darling Richard Arnold.
Now, I wanted to say something to you, Harriet, because you look pumpkin coloured today.
You see how she almost said I look like a pumpkin. Do you see? Did you all witness that? Because I did, and it hasn't gone past me. No, this is a salute to the beginning of Halloween era tomorrow. No, I shall be full Halloween tomorrow, darling. You better watch out.
Oh, yeah. I bet
it's funny, though, with Halloween, isn't it? Because Molly, my granddaughter, was saying, Nana, there's going to be no trick or treats. We can't go to people's houses. And I said, I know, we've got to find a way of creating Halloween at home.
Yes.
And not going out. And the same with bonfire night next week. There'll be no bonfire parties.
That's right.
Are people not allowed to trick or treat now?
No.
But you know what you can do, Debbie?
Yeah.
You can actually take a candle, turn out all the lights, and before midnight, look in the mirror, and then you can see the face of your future husband.
Ooh.
Oh dear God! On Halloween. Yeah.
What happens if he's a cadaver, darling? That's no good. What are you
And the other thing was
nothing worse, Dee.
I know, that's why I said Debbie.
Hammer horror.
Yes,
a horror movie.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Does that mean? Sorry, guys. Does this mean that there's no bonfire night either?
Yes.
No, I don't think there'll be any big bonfire. The big, the ones you go to.
Communal.
You can't because there can't be any fireworks. You can't have a collection of people. And I think they've even stopped selling them. I think Sainsbury's have stopped selling fireworks as well.
Yeah.
And because of the doggies as well. Because Sainsbury's stopped selling them because of the animals, because the animals get so frightened. I mean, I don't know if you have an animal that's frightened by fireworks, but one of my dogs is terribly frightened by fireworks.
Yeah.
That's Bear, and I literally have to put a little scarf on him and put cartoons on and cuddle him while he just watches the telly. Honestly, it's true.
Do you know somebody might know this out there that are watching this show? There is a country, and I can't think what happened because it happened last year, that do have firework displays, but they're silent.
Yeah.
They're silent.
Yeah.
I don't know which country that is.
Yeah.
We should find out.
They don't have to ban. They don't have to ban.
There's no noise at all.
Well,
just have the
sensible.
lights. Yeah. Which makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, listen, girls, I've got to go and get into my Halloween outfit now because it's going to take all night to force myself into it. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Makeup.
Yeah, and I won't be a pumpkin. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. Hubble, bubble, toil and trouble. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
For the seance. Bye.